So I'm here at Tabor House and I'm meeting with Sharon Fear, who's the manager here, has been for a few years now. And it's quite an exciting time for Sharon because having helped Birmingham City Council run their all-in provision during the lockdown, where they helped manage the service at the hotel in town for over 50 people who had been sleeping rough. Sharon is now back in a home, Tabor House, and I'm going to ask Sharon what it's been like setting it up. So Sharon, how has it been for you setting Tabor up again?
It's been quite an exciting time because it's really nice to be back from the hotel, especially because this is really a project that it works so well, and I was very excited to come back. So main thing we've wanted to do is to make sure that Tabor House was safe to be back for everybody, so volunteers, staff, and obviously for the guests as well. So there's been a lot of work that's gone on to get the little rooms ready so that people have their own spaces. There's been lots of work on making sure that there's a strict regime that people have to adhere to make sure that everybody remains safe. We had a challenge with volunteers because we had a lot of volunteers who were shielding actually, or had people who they were looking after who were shielding. And I think it's a testament to where we are now is those people are starting to come back to us because they feel that actually it does feel and look safe, and they know that we've put everything in place that we can do. So we've been keeping a link with the volunteers and like I say, and showing them what we've been doing, and we've been sharing the action plans that we've done to encourage them to sort of come back and to see that we are safe. The guests what we've done is we've been very mindful about making sure that the guests remain safe. So we've only had a couple of guests at a time. We're now up to 4 and we've got a capacity of 8. So we're making sure that the guests know what we're expecting of them and know that it's achievable. So that's why we've kept them to low numbers, and now we can start and have even more people in and know that we can keep it safe. So it's little things like making sure that the table, when people are eating, how that works. The volunteers being in the kitchen at one time, making sure that they're keeping the door, because we've changed where the entrance and exits are, that all those are safe, making sure that people are just so used to having the temperatures taken. They know to sanitise even when they've gone out for a cigarette, they know to do that, and also keeping their pods to a certain standard. So there's been lots of work that's gone on, so that we're now at a point now where we can really open up and get more people in. We are seeing an increase actually in the amount of people who need our service, which is quite sad in one way, but it's great for us on another because it means that we can help people and get them moving on. So we have, because of the no recourse people, so that's people who haven't got any, they can't access any of the statutory services that are supplied by the council or government, so that means they're not entitled to benefits or any other support. We are able to actually support those people to find jobs because that's the only way that they can actually function and to get on with their lives.
Sharon, have you had any success with that in the last few weeks?
We have. We've only been out. We opened at the beginning of August. It's the end of July, beginning of August. We opened 27th of July, and in that period that we're in now, we've had one person who he came from with nothing, and he has now got a full-time job and found accommodation. So he's a success. We've had other people. We've had somebody who's needed his passport, so we've got that sorted. He needed to get his licence so that he can get a driving job. So we're in the process of changing that. So it's transferring it from a European licence into a British licence. So there's medicals and things that we've had to sort out for that. We've got somebody who's going back to their own country. So we're just in the process. He's going tomorrow. We've got somebody who's actively looking now for accommodation and is working on getting more of his documentation so that he feels safer to stay in the UK. So everybody's got something going on. Sorry about that, that's the bell.
That's okay, it's part of the natural life, which
Yes.
is what we're trying to catch here. If you want to
So
answer that,
excuse
well,
me.
I'll do our video, the pods while you're doing that,
Okay.
because I'm sure people watching will be interested to know just what these pods are that have been installed. There's a very clear view of one. There were 11 beds here, all very ordered before. Now people have virtually their own little room as a preparation for, as Sharon said, when they go out and get their own accommodation, which so many people from Tabor over the last few years have successfully done with the help of the staff and volunteers here. Answered the door. Sharon, it has been tough getting this refurbished, but you've had great help from the management committee.
Yes.
And you've also, I think at the moment, you're having a house that you're leasing refurbished. Tell me a bit about that.
Well, that's an exciting development actually, because that means that we can have a move-on project, which is what we would like to happen, which is where we can get people living a little bit more independently, but still with supports. However, due to COVID, we are at the moment considering, especially with winter coming, having that as a safe house. So if somebody has or develops symptoms, they can isolate up there away from the people here. So we're going to have to sort of utilise it to its best for the moment, but hopefully this COVID will not be around forever, and then we can then start and look at it as a new move-on project within Tabor, which is what we really would like to happen to it.
That's great, Sharon. Coming back to Tabor itself, it must be tough for the guests who stay here each day, because 24 hours in the day, while you're trying to look for work and you can't socialise in the same way. Or what's it like for each of the guests?
Well, that's been a challenge in its own right, to be fair. When we first opened, it was very difficult because there wasn't a lot going on. We're starting to get a bit more of a routine, so we've now got a job club happening on a Wednesday. We have English conversation on a Sunday morning, and I'm hoping that we're going to have some English classes on a Tuesday morning. We've got a ping pong table. Well, we transferred the dining table into a ping pong, and they've had tournaments and competitions doing that. We've also sort of trying to get people involved. So they've done jigsaws. The volunteers have been very good trying to think of things for people to do. And we are trying to get more. It has to be very difficult because we can't have big groups, so it has to be things that we can do individually but still inclusive. We have got the laptops which people are using, and we've also, somebody's bought in their games console so they play games and work on that. So there's little things that are going on, and that's going to develop into much more as we can think of things that are safe and good for them to learn and do. One of the other things that we're going to be doing is get people to do the hygiene, the kitchen NVQ, health and safety kitchen. I can't think what it is.
Food hygiene,
That's
yeah.
the one. That's the one. We're going to get them doing that, so everybody will have a qualification, so it'll help them if they want to go into kitchens or to work in that area. So
you remind me, one of the exciting things about living here before COVID was a number of restaurants had grouped together to help provide a meal once a week. Yeah.
Yes, and they're still very interested in doing that. I'll shout at him in a second. Very interested in doing that. The person who's setting it up did get in touch, and they were looking at reinstating that. However, with the way that the the restaurants and everything else have been hit with the changes and everything else. That's on hold. But as soon as everything's back to a place where people can afford to support us, they will be, and they're very excited to do that. So that's really good.
Okay. Well, Sharon, thanks for what you've shared with us. I'm sure people in Father Hudson's, the staff in other services, are always interested to know how you meet the challenges, and turning from a communal overnight sleeping area into pods and 24/7. It has been a real challenge, but you and your team have managed brilliantly with that. Thank you.
Thank you.